Hello, everybody, and welcome to day 41 of the road to 2konchess.com. Today we're sitting at 1838, and our opponent is a 1827 from Poland. So I don't know if we've gotten to play Poland before. So e4, we'll start with c6, the Caro-Kann, and we'll go straight into it. Our opponent plays the advanced variation by pushing the e-pawn, so we're going to fight back with c5. And after our opponent takes, there's a couple different ways to play. I personally prefer going with this knight out variation, and our opponent plays an immediate f4. So after f4, I like to play knight to h6 and get my knight right here. This also allows for me to bring my bishop to g4 and tempo the queen. So we're going to play knight to h6, and my opponent has allowed it. However, I think we might play, well, I don't see any reason not to get the light square bishop out on the diagonal. So let's start with that. Bishop comes out. Let's snap it off. If queen comes out, we'll just let that happen. And if our next move is definitely going to be e6. b4, and now I'm looking at knight here, but it doesn't quite work. So instead, let's play b6, striking back at the pawns. Obviously, if takes, takes. And we're going to go queen takes there, cutting off this diagonal. Now the king cannot castle. a3 immediately. And now I'm tempted to play knight to g4, which would force rook to f1 to stop this check. So we're going to threaten knight g4. This is the threat. And our opponent does have to make a decision here. And I think we're just simply winning a pawn back. Well, not winning a pawn, because we did lose a pawn earlier. But, I don't know. I mean, it doesn't feel like the worst position for us. We've definitely had worse on the channel. I'm also looking at moves like a5. Let's play knight captures h2. The rook comes back. Let's go knight to g4 again. And in this position, I think we have to ask ourselves, do we like our position more than our opponents? This diagonal is kind of weak. We do have moves like a5. I'm trying to see if we have any way to get into the position quickly. And is there any tactical sequence that allows us to get to this king? I'm not seeing one immediately. If we push and our opponent pushes, then we take. The rook is free. Bishop to e7 seems sensible to try and get here, but then pawn blocks. And maybe we play... We don't have bishop takes because of knight takes. If we go queen here, bishop comes in, queen takes, queen up. Doesn't look great for us. If I come up and the rook moves forward, we can come back. If we go here and the rook goes here. So I don't know. Maybe let's play a5. I don't want to end the game yet. Just because I'm not seeing an immediate, sharp response from our opponent. queen comes in. So this is under attack twice. This is under attack. And I think we are actually going to go ahead and maybe we play like bishop to e7. And I'm trying to be mindful of all the threats here. The knight comes in. The knight is pinning the queen. So maybe we have to play king up. If we castles, if we castle. What about this check now? This check, king comes up. Then queen check. Pawn up. That doesn't look very good for anyone. We do have takes. And if takes there, I don't think there's anything yet. But this bishop isn't doing anything. So let's play bishop to h4 check. We haven't forgotten this threat. It does force our opponent's hand. And now a move like queen here is even more tempting. So queen a6. If pawn comes up, knight check, pawn takes, and queen over. If we come here and queen comes here, we have takes, knight takes. I don't know if I love that one as much. Castles obviously doesn't work. Queen check is so tempting. Queen check, queen here. Takes, knight takes. You have to defend, king maybe to d7. So we're going to go there. We're threatening a skewer on the knight. The pawn comes up. So now we do have knight takes check. And here, maybe we'll play queen to c8, threatening to come up. And trade the queen off and give ourselves a pass pawn. This probably wasn't the cleanest way to play this position, but I also don't hate the way we played the position. We can castle here, which I think gets us out of this. So check here. Or castles and then check. Well, castles, this is on the way. So I think we have to do this now. Take the pawn, go for this endgame. Our opponent pushes and solidifies the pawns. So this is under attack. So maybe we'll castle. And then play like rook. I have to figure out a plan here. Knight back. Let's reroute our knight. Let's go to f5. And we may have ideas like bishop back here. The knight comes in. Is threatening these two squares, both of which are outposts. But we're going to force our opponent to defend this square here. If they come in, so which they ignore, we do have knight check, but then the knight comes up. So I think we'll play bishop back to e7, trying to get to a better square. The king comes up a square, and that does hang a pawn with check. So let's do that. It's 3 minutes versus 7, so we're way behind on the clock. And here, I'm really tempted to play f6. And I think we're just going to go ahead and do that. Because the queen is off the board. It does create this light square weakness, but it's not as pronounced as it was previously. And this hangs a fork of the bishop and the rook. Our opponent comes up. Let's take once. Let's take here. And then let's get behind this pass pawn. Now, we do have to be mindful of the b pawn. We might play this bishop check at some point. And our opponent just comes up into the position, which doesn't look great. So let's play bishop to b4, putting that bishop on a strong square. We'll play rook f to d8, threatening this check, and our opponent comes up. So my immediate thought is to do this. There's obviously many attackers right here. And is there any way to displace the piece? I don't see it. So we're going to play rook to d3 check. The king comes up. And now, maybe we play... Well, pawn can't come up because then we hang it. Let's come back, attack the knight. If we come up, that doesn't work, so we'll check again. Come back, attack the knight. And up a pawn. I know we've done this previously in the series. I don't want to lose the game in a silly way. We can win this pawn, but then they maybe come here. We lose this. So let's go here, and that's a draw by repetition. Down 6 minutes, I think we're just going to take it, because it doesn't make sense to lose rating pushing on in an unclear position, although I do think we were better. So let's look at the game review, and we'll see how we did. So today's game didn't do as well. We played at a 75.5 and our opponent played with a 73.5. We got into this opening where we played the Botvinnik-Karls variation. Knight c6, f4, knight h6 was best. Bishop g4 was fine, and then after takes, and e6, white has a slight advantage, and it's more likely due to the space disadvantage that black sees in these typical Caro compositions. So after b4, b6 was wrong. I forgot that a5 is the move and not b6. Our opponent took. We took with the queen, which was slightly wrong. It does want us to take with the pawn, but I don't see a huge difference between the two in regards to the engine evaluation. And after a3, the immediate a5 was the correct move, but we played knight to g4, threatening here. Our opponent plays rook f1. We hang the pawn. And I think it's just saying that you can bring the knight in and block immediately, but take, because after takes, queen takes, pawn takes, this position is going to be incredibly difficult for black to break through. But our opponent hung the pawn. We thought about the repetition, but we didn't end up taking it, and we did eventually find a5. Queen a4 was wrong. And then bishop e7 was best after we took some time to find that move. The bishop check was not the correct plan. It looks like we should have played rook to c8 like we were looking. And if pawn takes, we can actually go ahead and I think we need to slide over. You can't take the pawn because then you will hang, what is it here? Queen takes, I guess knight takes, and it says just king to e2, but I don't know what I saw there. Bishop check, king e2, queen a6, which was incorrect after we took all this time to look at it. b5 was wrong, and it says if they would just slid on over, it's simply worse, and it wins the knight. I guess it wins this knight. And it looks like it's probably that way because of the move b5. But we snap off the knight with check, important because our queen was hanging, pawn takes, and queen back to try and trade off the queens. After our opponent blocked, we had the wrong idea with trading queens. We did look at castles, but I think we were worried about losing this pawn here. But I suppose that does pin it, and we can immediately punish, which admittedly in the game I didn't see. So queen takes, pawn takes, a4, and this is a very uncomfortable position for us to work in because this pawn is passed. But we castled, brought our knight back, brought it onto an open square, and our opponent hung another pawn. We didn't take it in this case because we wanted to defend the bishop first. So we brought bishop back. And I'm looking at this position. I thought after knight takes, our opponent has king to e3, but I did miss that the knight can come and fork the two pieces. And you'll end up getting a position like this, where if the opponent takes the rook, you take the time to escape with the knight. Or your opponent can take the rook, go down the exchange, and then you play a move like bishop e7. But we didn't get any of that. We opted to bring our bishop back right away. We did take a pawn with check, and after f6, which wasn't too bad, our opponent played up. We missed a hanging pawn, and how is it a hanging pawn? Takes, takes. Oh, you can't take back because the rook is here. How silly. Rook a c1, knight captures c3, king captures e3, pawn captures, f captures, and rook a to c8, finally defending our c-pawn. Rook c3 blocks the pawn. We played bishop to b4, and we thought about pushing the pawn, but we didn't like the idea of this knight just defending everything. Was really what it was. So after rook hc1, we checked with the rook, king went back, we attacked the knight, and really the engine says this was the best move. I am curious. It looks like it's hanging on a knife's edge a little bit. Oh, never mind. If we play anything else, we're immediately worse. So I am especially glad in this situation that we stopped, took our time, and decided to go for the repetition. The engine says that we played, or the game review I should say, says that we played at a 1700 level. Our opponent played at 1650. So definitely not our finest game, but definitely one that we can use to learn and improve our Caro-Kann. Thank you everyone for watching. If you enjoyed the game or have any comments, please leave it down below. If you liked the video, go ahead, click that thumbs up button. And lastly, check to make sure you subscribed. And if you haven't, go ahead and click that button for me as well. And I will see you guys on the next day.